Alright, good evening everyone. Let's give it a few minutes. Let people join the stream before we get on to anything important. I'm actually on a new computer, so do let me know if you're able to hear me, if you're able to see me. Well, not actually see me, but see Raid. I'm always invisible on these things. But yeah, it'd be good to know if I've actually managed to set everything up correctly, because you know, doesn't always happen that way on these highly professional streams that I try and do every now and then. So yeah, we will see how it goes. When you say you can hear Raid, have I actually got game music on? I don't think I have any. No, I don't have any music or sound effects in game, so maybe I should actually put some on since I don't have any background music playing. Otherwise, maybe a bit of game sounds might actually be a rare kind of thing that people could enjoy. So I'm just kind of going through my dailies at the moment, trying to get everything done, and I've got a bit of Doom Tower secret rooms to do. I need to do both the normal side and the hard side. I think as soon as I've used up my last bit of energy, I'll get on and do that. That will give people a bit of time to join. I don't have any particular schedule on my stream, so we'll see if we get many viewers. It's a bit of a random one. I try to give a little bit of forewarning. Normally I just sort of go live randomly with like maybe 15 minutes of warning. As this time I scheduled it a full 45 minutes before I went live, really looking out for the viewers. But yeah, took a bit of a break from YouTube actually. It wasn't really planned, but I was away for a week on holiday, and then I came back, was busy in real life, and to be honest, all the stuff that was going on in the game, it didn't really inspire me to want to make content. So I just didn't, because it's always, for me, it's always been a hobby, something I do just for a bit of fun. Originally started just kind of providing some guides to try and help people that were maybe struggling with some of the content that wasn't typically covered in depth. So yeah, I kind of just started the YouTube stuff to do that. And obviously we've kind of gone on a bit since then, but it's still really, it's purely for fun. It's not as a job, it's not to make money. I haven't ever taken any sponsorships or anything so far. So yeah, it's just kind of pretty relaxed. Watched Liverpool. Ah, yes, yes. Europa League today. I haven't actually checked the results. Should after. We'll get the stream done first, then I'll maybe check that later. What have I got to do on the main account as well? I'm home from work, obviously, just had some dinner. Trying to get all of the dailies done. Get things done before what we've got. Champion training ends tomorrow morning, so I need to try and finish that if I can. And Doom Tower ends in like 2 days, so I need to try and do the secret rooms because I've done 0 secret rooms so far. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I really need to get to the point where I'm only doing one account, because doing 2 accounts is just, it's too much. And we're doing it now for like, what, 7 months? I think we started in February on the free-to-play challenge series. I'm pretty sure it's February we started, which is a lot longer than I was ever attending. Have I tried Razelvarg as a campaign farmer? Honestly, I haven't. I'm sure he would do an excellent job of it. I've used Aethel as the campaign farmer since what, day 1, and I've just left him there. He's barely had any improvement in gear either, but he does it quick enough, 8 to 20 seconds if it gets really messy. But it shouldn't really go on that long. But it's usually pretty quick anyway. And my Razelvarg's kind of built more specifically for clan boss, so it doesn't have 100% crit rate, because I pair him with Farrakhan. So it's like, it works this way. We don't need to worry about it too much. how are we actually getting on? Dungeon Divers, I still got to do some of that as well. Got like 250 to go. Enhancements finished. There's a bit of energy in there that I can use. And on the champion training, I've got quite a lot to do. 4,400 points. So let's crack on. Let's get into Doom Tower and get it done. New PC is pretty nice so far. Like, I still need to kind of finish configuring it, moving everything over, setting it up, etc. But so far, pretty nice. I do need to come up with a better monitor kind of situation. What we're going to do here, this should be really easy, to be honest. Let's toss in Genbo, maybe Husk. Not enough silver keys. Oh no, I need to get myself the silver keys first from this Hydra key. And what I'm going to do with the Hydra keys, I'm just going to, because I've only got 2 proper Hydra teams, so we'll just toss in a champion, give, basically throw the key away, and we'll do proper Hydra some other time. Don't have time to do a proper Hydra battle right now, but I only have 2 proper Hydra teams anyway. So I don't need to worry about the 3rd key just yet. Well, that was a bit of a mistake earlier. Well, we'll just go with this one then. Rare Void. Actually, we might not get that one done, but let's try it. You got anyone else in the vault? Gear Grinder could be a better option. I don't think half of these champions actually have gear on them. So let's see. All the other content creators are jumping over. I mean, I just don't have time, to be honest. Like, most of the other content creators are full time, so it's quite different for them what they do. It's kind of a job. They're full time content creators, so all the power to them. But for me, I'm still playing 2 accounts on Raid. And whilst I'm playing 2 accounts on Raid, I have literally 0 time to do anything else. So I think the intention in that regard will be get this finished, get the last remaining kind of goals done on the challenge account. We've managed to do all of the different rotations of Doom Tower now, so that's that's part of it. And we have 4 factions left. Anyone who's in my Discord server will have seen I beat Lizardman on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I had 2 level 40s in the clear, which was pretty happy with. And yeah, we managed to get it done. Who should we go? Take down at Cold Heart. I'll save the revive. We've actually got 2 revivers here. Although we might actually lose them. There we go. They're both dead. Oh, disaster. They've got no gear on. That's the problem. So we'll see if we can just sort of slip our way through, manage to get this floor done. Otherwise, we're going to have to put a bit of gear on Gear Grinder. Probably Gear Grinder would be enough to get us through. But let's just see if we can slip our way past without having to waste any silver at all. I will drop defense first. And then I'm actually going to try and lock out and hope for some stuns. I'll probably take down Doom Screech. That's a bit of a concern. They're going to kill my Bellower, aren't they? Oh, not good. It's going to hit auto. We'll see if Cold Heart, I'm pretty sure Cold Heart's not going to manage to solo 5 champions. Let's be honest, that ain't happening. Right. Let's go recently used. Pick our champions. Like I said, I'm pretty sure most of them, 3 of them have literally 0 gear. So if we just quickly, let's just get rid of the new stuff. Clear off the campaign gear first. Quickly go through this. Sell that, sell that. That's all going to be sold. Look, a little mini gear cleanse in the same time. I will leave that 5-star. I will leave that for the time being. Come back to a more proper gear cleanse in the future. We just need some regen that's not equipped. Sort by speed, sort by HP. Just something to keep this gear grinder alive, get us through the other side. That one. But we've got 3 more slots left. That's just not going to give us enough speed, any of those. Probably that. Actually, maybe that piece. I prefer not using 6-star pieces because I know I'm gonna rip it off at some point. And we'll just go priority stats down to medium. Go and find tool for the 2 remaining pieces. 5 stars always cheap to rip off. And then decent amount of HP now. Again, priority stat, HP and defense. See what we get shown. Yeah, that'll do fine. It's actually a really nice piece, but for someone else. Amulet. In consideration. Probably just go for that. Go. Now we should be able to do that secret room without any further issue. We need faction crypts, not useful faction crypts as well. All battles, that's going to be our best aura. And everyone else is kind of rubbish because they have no gear on them. How was my holiday? Well, it's actually like 3 weeks ago. It was really nice. But it seems like a long time ago because it was. I've been back, nearly 3 full weeks. I think I was away the end of August, beginning of September. Yeah, so I've been back pretty much 3 weeks, or 3 weeks this Sunday. I'll have been back, but yeah, just been really busy with real life stuff. You know, work's been very busy. There's been a lot of stupid stuff in the game to deal with, and you know, like the general raid environment right now, it's not great, is it? If we're honest, like people are pretty miserable. If I'm honest, like yeah, I see most of the thumbnails or like the few videos that I do kind of watch myself. I sometimes catch one when I'm kind of just doing my dailies, and it's pretty negative at the moment. It's kind of like if I don't have anything interesting to say or positive to say, I typically don't really make that much content just for the sake of it. So I've kind of steered away necessarily from adding my voice to it because I think I'd just be complaining basically. And sometimes, you know, the old saying, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That might be partly why I haven't said anything. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, giving that little bit of gear to Gear Grinder, that's going to be enough. We're going to easily get through this room now. And even just adding HP Aura in the level 1 champion, this gives us that little bit more survivability. You don't need to put gear on all your champions. Waste as little resource as possible. That's always the motto on this channel. Right, there we go. Next secret room on the list. Why'd I put gear on Gear Grinder over Reliquary? Gear Grinder, if I remember correctly, where can we see him? Oh, we need to go to champions. Recently used. It is a single ally. No real reason, to be honest. I thought for some reason he had a double revive, so that's why I went for it. But yeah, there's not really a good reason. Could have done either. What is my reliquary? Yeah, same, also 5-star. Absolutely no reason whatsoever. I could say there was a secret in the back of my mind, clever reason for it, because there actually is a genuinely good reason for it, but I didn't actually think of it at the time. And that's that my auto high elf is consistent at stage 20, but my Ogre and Tribes really isn't consistent at all. I can't. I completed it. I've cleared 21 manually, but I can't auto farm really anything above sort of stage 16. So by doing that on Gear Grinder, it might be enough for me to be able to auto farm higher up in Ogre and Tribes. Now, if only I'd pretended that I'd thought about that before I did the gearing, you would think I'm really thinking of everything and like playing next level play. But it's not the case. I only thought about it afterwards. But sometimes there is a method in the madness. Even if you're not aware of the decisions you're making, you can analyze them in retrospect and say, I made a very good decision there. And then pretend to people that you'd thought about it all along and that you didn't just get lucky. Yeah. It's another secret room done and dusted. All the ones on the normal side should be reasonably straightforward. I would think I'd have enough champions to get them done. I'd hope. We've got Tila and I'm sure we saw, there we go, Teodor. Like that. If this team can't get it done, I mean, there is a couple of cardios, that's kind of annoying. But it should be fine. Between the TM control from Deacon and Arbiter, and obviously the massive damage coming in from Theodore. Healer obviously helping there with a bit of HP burn. Gives him another way of exploding, exploding the poisons plus the HP burn for extra damage. Tila's actually a really nice champion since the buff. Like, she's a really good champion overall. I think if I'd got her earlier, she would have made a lot of teams. Like, she would have been a pretty good carry. But because I got Teodor earlier, I ended up using Teodor a lot. Yeah. I think we'll get this secret room done. And then actually, in the interests of the content being more engaging, I think I might just jump over to the hard side and see which secret rooms we can get done there first. And then if there's time, I'll come back to the normal ones. Otherwise, I'll just do the normal ones off stream. Because I don't think it's that interesting for you guys to watch me full auto normal ones. Whereas if we look at some of the hard ones, if I had your Carl, I'd get this one done, but I don't. So we're not going to be able to do that one. Epic Magic Champions. I think there's actually a decent chance we can get that one done, but it's going to be hard. Let's start our way from the bottom where it's a bit easier and see how many of them we can get done. These are going to be tricky. Epic Champions, we're going to want some kind of healing. So we'll get like 2 kind of healers there. We probably want some crowd control as well. Scaramis or Creodon. We've got quite a few options actually, don't we? I'd say let's drop some of the healing and go a little bit more full damage. Husk or Creodon? Probably Creodon. He'll give us the increased speed. So let's auto that part. Drop, decrease attack, decrease that, do that, then open there, and then we should be able to click auto. And then just take it off auto once we get near the end of the first wave and make sure we get through to the second wave with our skills off of cooldown. Which champion would I want most for the account? I mean, my view with the accounts, I always wanted to just get champions I didn't have on the main. And if I was going to play this account like long term, who would I want? I mean, I've always wanted Krisk on my main. I just think he's a fun champion. I think that would probably be it. I would like a Krisk. But the problem with getting a champion like Chris or Crizzy or anything like that, I would much rather have them on my main account. So I'd feel it'd be kind of disappointing to have them on the challenge account champion, like a really big champion that I don't have on the main. So for the most part, I've just been happy getting kind of good epics or kind of mid to upper tier legendaries that I don't have on the main. And it's been fun. Like I've used Skaramis loads, I've used Creedon loads, I've used Delarger a lot, and I didn't have any of these champions on the main. And then in the legendary side, like getting people like Teela is interesting, and that's why I wasn't that excited to get Sakir, for instance, because I have Sakir on the main, but I never felt like I really got that much out of Sakir on the main. And to be honest, I 6-starred Sakir on the free to play, the challenge account as well, and I haven't actually used her since I did it, like at all. She, yeah, like great champion, but not that good for progression. I think better if you're trying to speed farm certain things. Is there a specific area I'd want Chris for? Well, I mean, great for Hydra, right? That's probably the only area that would be worth having him. Otherwise, for Arena, I mean, Necrit, I think, is probably one of the biggest ones, or Warlord Yumiko would also be fantastic. Why don't I have Super Chat option? I can tell you why. It's the same reason there's no memberships on the channel. It's the same reason I never taken a sponsorship. My view is that I'm not doing it, at least at the moment, I'm not doing the YouTube thing to make money. And because I'm not doing it professionally to make money for myself, I don't want my viewers to feel that they should be spending any money supporting me, because for me it's just a hobby, and I don't need you guys to pay money to support me to do my hobby, if that makes sense. And like, there's nothing wrong with the people that do it professionally having those options for people to pay and provide that their support and show their appreciation. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with that myself, so I just left it. I've just never enabled any of those kind of monetization options, basically. Will I in the future? Maybe. But for now, that's what I feel most comfortable doing, so I've left it like that. So what do we want here? Rhonda, probably. We can throw Sakir in. Look, there we go. Let's try that. Can't you speed farm Hard Spider 10 with Sakir? You know, I think I actually do have the champions to to speed farm, not feed spam, to speed farm Hard Spider, but it hasn't been a priority for me on the account, so I just haven't bothered doing it. Basically, that's kind of where we are. Like, the priority was beating Doom Tower 3. That, for me, was so far and away the thing that I wanted to do most that did you put in a plug for the clan? I haven't actually. That's a good point, Dreadnought. I think we've got like a couple of spots in the clan, in the cluster. If anyone has the link, actually, I might be able to get the link. Let me just click that, click auto, find wherever the server link is. Right there. Copy that text, whack it in the chat. Oh, it's trying to put in way more than I wanted. I only want that bit. There we go. Yeah, so the clan cluster, I think there's a few spots in the competitive clans. So if anyone wants to check it out and see if they want to join, you would be welcome. Anyway, now where was I? I was kind of yeah, speed farming Spider 10. So my priority so massively was to beat Doom Tower 3. And then my remaining priority is to... Oh, that's not good. We're getting absolutely wrecked. My remaining priority is to beat faction wars. Without Rosafog, I think we've got a bit of a problem here. Let me see what else we can do. We're going to have to actually manual this. Yeah, that would help. Let's give Sun Wukong some gear. This is a perpetual issue, right? People do not have gear. We could go either perception or speed. Let's see what we've got on the perception side. I can't multitask, that's the reality. We got anything interesting on the equipped side that we could steal from someone? Burangiri, did we finish Shadowkin? No, we haven't, so we can't steal that. We could definitely steal this one though, but it's a terrible piece. I feel like he deserves a 5-star piece, but I haven't got one worth giving him at the moment. I mean, this one, if I actually leveled it up. Right, let's just give him that one. And then a helmet. We just need to get through this floor, right? I'll do. Add that. Who else didn't have gear? Everyone else seems fine. So, we could potentially bring in Lure, try and use that. Rosalvarg, Allure, Rhonda, Sun Wukong, probably Shamil. Multitasking is hard. Like, I don't know how these people do this. Let's steal that and put block buffs on. Let's do that. Trying to get some of the decreased defense. And hopefully here, we only have 2 buffs, so it should hopefully still be enough. There it is, perfect. And then I think we'll just go for an A3. So we're actually going to have to manual this. Who is a problem? Let's try and get the stun out there. Let's drop turn meter here. Then A2, just tickle him with Shamil. Oh, they do so much damage. Try and get another stun out if we can. Hope the True Fear proc didn't happen. Yeah, that's tough. I feel like we need stuns, but we don't have that many. I can't even remember what the again, I think it's a question if we had Yakal, because then we'd have proper crowd control. And I think that's where the problem is. Oh, that's awful. Let's just polymorph you. At least we'll kill the Whisper. We need to kind of get a stun off. That would be good. Now we can get a leech out. And then with the leech, we can try and heal up Shamil. Not by much though. I get a stun again. Yeah, problematic. Not an easy floor if you don't have attack-based champion with hard crowd control. Saf has 3 monitors in practice. Yes, exactly. And I do now have 2 monitors hooked up, whereas previously I was doing it with 1. And yeah, and I'm not that practiced at it. And I don't do it that often. So these are my excuses. I'm going to go for an A1 because I am going to try kill now if I can. Who is the most problematic? Probably one of the Yakals, and then we really basically, if we don't get Yakal killed here, we're in real problem. And we're in real problem. I think we're gonna fail. Basically. But let's see. We might get lucky. If we get stun off, then we're gonna be fine. But we didn't. Can we get back around? And now we're in a bad place. As soon as Razelvarg's gone, I think it's game over. Yeah, we'll forget that. Secret Room 2, that is, I think, going to be too difficult for us. We just don't have crowd control. If we had Yakal, I feel like it would be doable, but we don't. This room, I think we can do. That should be fine, and we'll probably go Jizzo. I think this one will be pretty much full auto, to be honest. So that should be fine. Actually, it would help if I clicked auto. So how did I manage stage 114? You're stuck on stage 114. Can you show the run or give some tips? It is so hard, that stage 114. So I ended up doing it. I predominantly was using Sun Wukong as the kind of Rotos tank. So I built my Sun Wukong really fast with enough kind of HP and defense that he would be able to survive at least one hit, so i.e. he would take 2 hits to die. I then was using... I'd have to go and check after this secret room to go through the full team and exactly what the idea was. But I was definitely using Shamil as a damage dealer, so I could be able to one-shot. What else? I think I had Arbiter and Syl. I think I had 2 revives plus a TM boost there, and I think I had Razelvarg in the lead. So Razelvarg was giving me speed aura and increased speed, which was basically the only way I was able to keep up with the speed requirements. And even, to be honest, the accuracy requirements are pretty high, but I did actually build everyone enough accuracy not to need the increased accuracy buff. But the increased speed and the speed aura was massive. If I had built Morrigan, I would have actually used Morrigan instead. I think she would have been better than Razelvarg in that role. And obviously, the other consideration was that I was using Shamil. So I needed the buffs, obviously, to make Shamil work. So there was logic in the kind of the symbiosis of all the different champions being used, but it still requires good RNG. And I tried a lot of different champion combinations before I ultimately found that one and that it looked like it was going to work. And then I needed a good bit of RNG on wave 1 because I had to keep both Siffies fully crowd controlled. When I say both, I mean really there was one Siffy that needed to be crowd controlled because the first Siffy would die instantly. As soon... Let's just kill this Melga. The first Siffy would die on the first round. Shamil would one-shot her. But obviously, even with the True Fear, which I didn't have enough accuracy to necessarily apply, but with the increased accuracy, I actually did end up building Shamil with a little bit more accuracy to try and make sure that I was getting the provoked the True Fear off, even though Rotos would break it in waves 2 and 3. You're not dealing with multi Siffies, so actually having that True Fear was really important. But I digress. So what was I saying? Yeah, in that floor, it's really about finding this kind of combination of having enough crowd control that for wave 2 and 3 you can control most of the enemy, but you need also enough crowd control that on wave 1 that you're able to control either 1 or 2 of the Siffies, and you need enough damage that you can either one-shot a Siffy or kill them pretty quickly, and enough survivability that you can survive the onslaught of all the Rotos that you cannot control. So I tried a few different other things, like I tried running Shamil to kill one Siffy and then like Rhonda to lock out the other. But my Rhonda's built in a specific speed tune for clan boss. I didn't want to break up the build too much, and also for me, Ronda wasn't going to provide enough else. Are we even going to be able to kill these Verges? Like, like we're doing absolutely nothing. It's kind of wild. Like, look at it. We're doing absolutely 0 damage. Or if we go for the other one, is that going to help? Like, look at this. This is kind of crazy. Let's see if we know we can't broke yet. Like, you look at the amount of debuffs we've got, and we've got 5 champions. And I would have thought we'd have killed them quite easily, but it's actually it still isn't easy. That's kind of funny. Hopefully we're back to be able to. If I can keep this one provoked, yeah, provoke him, and then just keep focusing on the other one. You'd think with ally attack, the sort of damage dealing Stag Knight, Delaja does decent damage. You'd think it would be enough, but like, you know, we're nearly 6 minutes into this run and they're so tanky. No wonder he managed to solo Scarab with no problem. But yeah, does that help give you some ideas on how you might be able to beat that stage 114? Like, it really does depend on your own roster, and it's not easy at all. Yeah, there's no, I can't just say to you, oh yeah, you just do this and you'll beat it, because it is entirely dependent on your gear, your champions, and your patience. Because yeah, 114 is hard, but Sun Wukong, I can say, is actually really good for it. Like, as a kind of a clutch champion that you wouldn't expect necessarily to be good at that role. But it also helps if you do kind of let a Siphi get away, and Siphi uses, say, the A3, you can just steal all the buffs, so that's kind of pretty helpful. Oh, Siphi. This is not good for Theodore. But let's see if we add that. Don't really have any healing again. We might have to bring in Gorgorab. And then do we have any other crowd control? Maybe that. Probably actually better just bring in Seeker for a bit more TM control. Oh yes, the extra turns of Rotos is ridiculous as well. Let's just do this, try and get the provoke over there. It would have been better if we'd had crowd control here, because obviously now we've got skill lockouts everywhere. Taiku, are you asking why I haven't used Vogoth in this team, or whether you should use Vogoth for stage 114? Because Vogoth is very good at stage 114 as the, say, Rotos tank. But you have to have him as level 60, and my Vogoth is only level 50, so it wasn't an option for me. But also, I'd say you probably need a good reviver or two. Yes, Roman 2 also makes it easy. That's another option. Yeah, there's always many options, right? You know, the game has, what is it, 700 champions now? Like, there's many options to do it. It's just however you spin it, it's hard, unless you've got like a really good seer bomb team, or you've got what we're trying to say. Let me see if I can get rid of this buff. There we go, and let's see if we can get the provoke. Unless you've got Roman 2 or a really good seer bomb team, it's a hard floor. Big Pops, it was 700 like 2 months ago. But they make so many champions, it just keeps exploding. Like, we're going to get to 1,000 champions before long. And I think for me, that's like kind of one of the big problems in Raid, right? They keep adding more and more and more and more champions. But they don't, like, for what? There's no content to use them. When was the last time they, like, for me, Doom Tower was the last time they actually made genuinely interesting PvE content. Hydra's decent, but it's not great. And then everything else they've added since is about growing your player power or your champion power, but there's nothing you need it for. There's nothing. Iron Twins, Sand Devil, Shogun Grove, hard dungeons. It's all to acquire more power. But where do you need the power? You could already beat Nightmare Hydra, and you could beat Hard Doom Tower before you had any of those mechanics. So if you ignore top end PvP, what's it for? like, there's no purpose for it. Yeah, that's kind of, in my opinion, that's the biggest issue with the game in the last sort of, what is it, 12 to 18 months, is that there's so much power creep, but there's nowhere to use it. You could argue, oh, you need to get the more power to be able to farm Fire Knight 10, because Nick's mentioned that. But why are you farming Fire Knight 10? It's circular to get more power. There isn't, like, anything to beat. And that's kind of like, when Doom Tower came out, people needed to get more power because they couldn't beat Hard Doom Tower. Like, not that many people beat it when it first came out as a percentage of the player base. Like, it was hard content. Hydra, not everyone could beat it when it first came out. It was hard content. But then they added a load of stuff that wasn't hard as such. We're not going to be able to beat this currently. I need a healer. I think if there was more time, I think Rearguard would do the job, or Sepulchre. And I think this would actually be probably doable like that, but Rearguard would need to be a 50. How long have we got? 1 day, 16 hours. That's not much. Let's see what other ones we can get done in the meantime. Magic support. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be reasonable. Got massive crowd control, bit of damage from Teela, TM, and yeah, I think that should be alright. Let's see how we get on. Try and probably target you, maybe. It doesn't really matter. Creedon should keep them locked down. Whoever comes out of CC will just force target them and get Creedon to go do the A1. As soon as I cycle back around to him, I'll just make sure that he does the A1 rather than his TM, rather than his increased speed. Yes, the fun PvE content to get primal shards. Can't wait. Like, it might be fun. Who knows? I would hope it would be. Like, we're due a really interesting piece of content. I've always hoped that they would either do like a new Doom Tower rotation. I think that would be really cool. My little idea for how they would do that, because obviously if you just add a 4th Doom Tower rotation, we then only do a full Doom Tower cycle every 4 months instead of every 3 months, which doesn't really work. But I had the idea where if they made 3 new cycles, and then at each rotation you either pick that you're going to do Doom Tower 1 or 4, 2 or 5, 3 or 6. So effectively, if you're bored of Doom Towers 1, 2, and 3, and they're too easy, you just never have to do them again. But if you can't do Doom Towers 4, 5, and 6, they're too hard, and you still need to do Doom Towers 1, 2, and 3, you can choose. So they don't even have to give us more rewards. There's no reward bloat, because we're forfeiting a rotation of Doom Tower and a set of rewards to do a harder set of Doom Tower rotations with different bosses, different boss mechanics, different secret rooms, different secret room mechanics, different everything, and we're not getting the rewards we would have got normally, but we can get a different set of rewards. Essentially, if you have normal and hard, they could have equivalent of brutal and nightmare as the two other rotations, but specifically different bosses. So it's not just stat gain, it's like completely different set of problems. And that would at least give people a long-term PvE objective. Whereas, you know, it's just boring otherwise. Yeah. Because I think if they add, a third clan boss, I mean, how often are they going to make us do it? We have a daily clan boss and a weekly clan boss now. Is it going to be a monthly one? Then how are you going to make it work from a balancing perspective? They already have it difficult enough to balance things in this game. And worst of all, say you struggle to balance it, but you find a way. If it's one piece of content, again, we have 800 champions. You're either going to make it the same way that kind of Nightmare Hydra works, where, yeah, there's 800 champions, but how many of them are actually viable? That's the problem. Like, how many of all these champions in the game are viable to use in Hard Doom Tower? Not in Hard Doom, in Nightmare Hydra. I'd be surprised if people even use 80. So it's kind of like, it's a game with loads of champions, but it's irrelevant. Whereas I'd say if you look at all the people who clear Hard Doom Tower, there's a lot more champion diversity than there is in Hydra. So whatever they make, if it's a single combat or single encounter, I don't see how they're going to do it in a way that doesn't basically enforce a very small subset of champions. Like, how many videos, even I've made my Nightmare Hydra videos, they generally always involve Necmo, because I have Necmo and he's amazing for Hydra. You know? So it's kind of like, and then how many of the video comments become, who can I swap for Necmo? Who do I use if I don't have Necmo? And it's like, well, unfortunately, they've made the game in such a way that if you don't have specific champions, you're going to struggle. That's just the reality. Just quickly, maybe go there. Get the freeze off. I'm just making sure we don't fail this, because I really don't want to. I think we're back. It just I don't know what happened. My internet just went a little bit stressed out, but I think we're back. Why would Ethereum make content that allows diversity in champions? Well, it's not in their interest necessarily to do it. From a pure monetization perspective, they obviously want you to want the new champions as much as possible, to spend as much money as possible. But they also have to balance the fact that if people aren't interested and engaged in the game, then it doesn't matter how scarce something is, no one will buy it. So there's always a balancing act, right? You got to make the product good enough that people want to engage with the product, but then make it scarce enough that people are willing to pay a premium. So a good example in that regard would be something like an Apple iPhone. It's a premium product that is more expensive than the competition. Is it better? Not necessarily. But it's good enough that people want it, and it's are we going to be able to do this? Void support champions. We've got no damage, and they've got a warlord. I think if without a seer, I don't think that's really seer, and maybe Mithrala would make that easier. Yeah, so it's like a balance. You can make something super scarce, but that doesn't mean anyone's going to buy it. You know, you could make something unique, advertise it yourself, charge huge amounts of money, but no one will buy it. So it's kind of like you have to make the product good enough that people want to engage with it and want the product. So like going back to the iPhone, like it's a good product. It's good enough that people want it. Is it that much better than the competition that justifies the 20-30% premium? Not by itself, but people are happy to pay that. Let's just jump a few. There we go. That'll do, and then probably that. I get distracted all the time. What was I saying? Yeah, so they're obviously incentivized to not give us what we want, but I think there's a balance to be had. Like, they still made good money when they produced Doom Tower. It was still a profitable game when they created Clan Boss. They created a lot of stuff that you could look back in retrospect and say they didn't need to make the rewards as generous as they did. When they added advanced quests, for instance, that was another big increase in the amount of kind of free resources that we were given. But there's the whole idea with that is you increase engagement. And if you increase engagement, you increase the number of opportunities within which for you to monetize and to sell the product. Right now, they've added a load of content that, in my opinion, doesn't increase engagement. It actually arguably diminishes it. I think we might lose Creedon here, to be honest. That's not optimal. Let's try and get 2 freezes out because we need that. Let's manual it. I think we can still get this done. But it's this counterattack is kind of a pain. Let's just get our own counterattack going. We'll just A1. Let's strip a buff. Hopefully, yes, that's what I was hoping for. We'd get rid of the counterattack. Try and get the freeze off again. We'll just A1 here. Bella will lock out the Warlord. He might do. And we can give it a go after we've done the other secret rooms. But I'm also cognizant of the fact that the stream's already gone on for an hour, and I wasn't intending it to be necessarily a long stream. So I just want to get as many of the secret rooms done as we can and see how we're getting on overall, and kind of just have a chat and talk to everyone who's in the stream, and just share the thoughts about the game. Yeah, so as I was saying, like there's a balance to be had between giving players what players want and then withholding what players want to encourage the players to spend the money. Like, as simple as that, really. And for the last year, I think they've gone extremely far along the way of depriving players from what they want, to the point that they're actually depriving players from having fun. And that's when things get a little bit awkward. But we'll see. I mean, you know, they've had a very successful game for a number of years. They obviously, to a certain degree, know what they're doing. But I do think sometimes they're going too far, and they're seeing just really like how far can they push the tempo, you know. And I think that it's not a good place for the game. It's not good for the community, for the players who want to enjoy the game. I mean, we all play it because on some level we enjoy it, right? I don't think we'd play it if we didn't. Particularly those of us who do it not as a job. Like, it's always different if you do it for a job. But am I involved in Fateless? Sort of, but not really. I put a little bit of money into it, so I did invest in it, but I'm not involved in any capacity in actually creating the game. But I thought it seemed like an interesting kind of thing that they were doing, and I wanted to show some support. And the way I could support it was to invest a bit in it, but not a lot, just a bit. Yeah, so kind of give my support to it, and hopefully, if it's successful, then I get to enjoy it. Exactly, all the raid money I never spent. I spent on them instead. Anyway, we'll see. Like, I'm sure. I hope they make a good game. Like, even if I hadn't been involved in any capacity, I'd still hope that they did, because they're generally good guys, and they seem to want to do things for the right reasons. Obviously they want to make money the same as anyone else, but they, at least as far as I can tell, want to make a product that people are going to enjoy using. And that, I think, is always the thing that people are most frustrated about Raid with, because it could be such a good game. Like, it's the heart of a good game. Like, there's a really good game here, and they just seem to try and make it as unenjoyable as possible. It's like, how can we make this good game as frustrating as possible to play? Yeah, the microtransactions. Do you want to spend £99? What was the limit? Was it 5 times or 10 times? I can't remember. It was something crazy. I remember seeing it actually in Hades' video earlier today, because I watched it as I was on the train home. And it's like, yeah, do you want to spend a thousand? Do you want to spend £1,000 on this game? Microtransaction. Go on, just £1,000. It's like, come on. It's just mad. All these kind of pay to win games, they've just changed the landscape so much. Like, for me, I started playing games, 20, 25, 28 years ago, something like that. And I would never even have imagined that we'd find ourselves in the landscape that we have now, where, people can spend tens, 20, even 100,000 on a game. Like, how did we end up in a situation where that is considered normal? Like, it's mad. No, Nick, not mid-20s, late 30s. Yeah, it's just crazy, really, to think that we're in a landscape where people think that's normal. I just don't get it. Damn it, Creedon. You weren't meant to do that, but we can get rid of your freeze. Right. Sounds younger. I'm going to take that as a compliment. I don't know if it is. You sound like you know nothing. You must be young. But yeah, like, it's crazy to think that it's become normalized that people would spend a fortune on a game. Like, I remember, you used to just buy the game and that was it. It was a one-time thing. You would buy it. Like, I remember buying Diablo 2, and I must have played that for so long. I played so much Diablo 2 back in the day. But you paid once. It was online. There was no additional payment ever required. Like, it's just so weird. It's so surreal to see it, like the way that these mobile games operate. And to be honest, it's not just mobile games, is it? It's a lot of the games. You know, they just everything's just pay. It's just pay more. All right, what do we need to do here? Let's try and get freeze off there. Get our block debuffs, increase duration. Try and drop turn meter here. We just got to be a bit careful. We don't want to fail right at the end, having done what has been nearly 10 minutes of a floor. So Diablo 4, has anyone in chat actually played it? Because I haven't. I've been too busy doing this challenge account, but I would like it to be good, because I'd actually like to play it. But there seems to be a lot of negativity around it. I don't know. He saw Saf play and just not interested. Is that in Diablo 4 or Baldur's Gate 3? Because I could see myself playing Baldur's Gate 3. I did play a bit of Divinity Original Sin 2, or if it was 2, or was it number 1? I can't remember what it was. But I did play that for a bit, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. And it was actually a pretty good game. And I know that Baldur's Gate is done by Baldur's Gate 3 is done by the same studio, so I'd be interested to play that. I also want to play the new Zelda game, Tears of Kingdom. So I just need to get this challenge account finished so I can actually have a little bit of a life outside of Raid. Because there's been no opportunity for a life outside Raid. There's too much to do in the game. They don't give us any opportunity to do anything else. It's kind of crazy, really, isn't it? When is the account finished? Well, Doom Tower 3 is done. And the one remaining thing is to get Lydia. And I'm obviously doing this get Lydia by using 4-star champions. I have to use a 4-star champion in every single floor of every single clear. That is the rule. And I'm trying to use 2 if I can. Although the rule is only 1. I try and do it with 2, and I try and use as few 60s as possible as well. So I kind of didn't just create it has to have a 4-star champion. I also kind of go, well, it has to be a 4-star champion and as budget as I can get away with. Did I ever play WoW? Yes, I played World of Warcraft from release through to Cataclysm, and then stopped. Axel, it's not only 4 stars, but it's at least a 4-star in each clear. So, whoops, didn't mean to click replay. So like I've done most of them. We're at 914. And if we just quickly, which I can do it from within there, we go here. So Bannerlords had 240s. High Elves had 140, 2 5-stars. Barbarians, this wasn't the team that actually is the team I'm farming it with, but I had Sentinel as a 4-star. Sacred Order, the 4-star was Mistress, and a 5-star. Actually 360s, it was quite heavy loaded. Ogrin was 2 4-stars. Lizard was 2 4-stars. Skinwalker, the original clear, didn't have Sun Wukong. It was Greybeard and a Kempton, but only 1 4-star, but 2 5-stars. Orc didn't have Daneg. It had Maruka. It was 2 5-stars, 4-star, and 2 6-stars. Demon's not done yet. Undead's not done yet. Dark Elves, up to the point where I've got, has been 2 4-stars, but Mithrala's going to come in here. And that should end up clearing it, so it'll be 1 4-star, a 5-star, and 3 6-stars most likely. Night Revenant was 2 4-stars, Guardian and Executioner, with Miscreated, Doom Priest, and Theodore. Dwarf was actually Master Butcher here as the 4-star. Shadowkin isn't done yet. I have just got a second 6-star because my 1 6-star, 3 5-stars just wasn't cutting it. Sylvan is done, 2 4-stars. So, yeah. And a 5-star. I'm trying. We're getting there. We're getting there. I've got mostly Demon Spawn to do. I did give myself another 5-star in Demon Spawn with Tanix because I need a healer, basically. So that, and then we're on the final stage in Undead. Now with Mithrala, we should get the rest of Dark Elves done, and then Shadowkin having that extra 6-star might just be enough to get the final floor done. So we're pretty close. I think I'll be done in 2 to 4 weeks. Ballpark. Touchwood. If everything goes to plan. Epic Magic. I think we can get this one done as well. Like, this team's like picking itself. And what can I do in my main account? Let's just quickly click that. You can't see the main account though, so it's a bit random. I think Raid lately has been lacking content. That was a huge milestone. Exactly, Happy Tree. That's kind of what I mentioned earlier, is that all the content they've added in the last, say, 12 months is about farming more player power. But there's no reason to be having that power. There's nothing, there's nothing to use the power in. Whereas before, there was a clan boss was probably the best piece of content they've ever done. But also, you would do Doom Tower because it would give you access to new gear, new sets, new champions, and it was fun. Like, beating the bosses. It's a fun thing to do, to try and climb. But dungeons, you're meant to farm thousands of times. So it's not really that fun. Like, you beat it once and you're like, okay, great, now I need to beat it another 1,000 times. You beat Doom Tower each month, it's once a month you need to beat it. Yes, ultimately you need to be able to farm the boss after that. But the big milestone is just being able to beat it that first time is huge. The first time you ever clear Fire Knight 10, you don't get anything for it. It's not like the first time you clear it, they give you 6 pieces of mythical savage as like, here you go. Well done for getting here. There's no like progression milestone to be had, even associated with it. So on my main, I actually haven't even beaten Fire Knight 10. I just haven't bothered. It's like, for what? What am I bothering doing it for? And I think after we've got rid of the what do you call it? Once we got rid of the challenge account, I will do that kind of stuff. But I just haven't been bothered. There's not really been a reason to up until this point. Right, I think after this secret room, I'm gonna call it a night because I'm knackered, basically. And I think we will have achieved most of what we set out to do on the stream. Just generally chat and do some of these hard Doom Tower secret rooms, see how many we could get done. I think maybe I could do... Which one was it that I tried? There was definitely one that I wasn't able to do earlier, but I think maybe it's doable. Let me just see if I can crowd control that. No, that didn't go well. Oh, I should have done the AoE freeze. Actually, no, we got to provoke. We're okay. A lot of crowd control in this team. Yeah, exactly. People say they want to get Lydia, they want to beat hard Doom Tower. Like, it's a milestone. And to be honest, you're only playing the game to beat milestones. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, it's a grinding game. see you grind to be able to beat those keystone objectives. Like if you're not doing that, why are you playing it? Like there's nothing else to do. That's all it is. I was meant to go for Sanguinea. That's literally the only reason to be playing the game. And I mean, technically you could say it's also PvP, and that is in its own right something that might interest you as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'd say the majority of people that play the game play it for PvE more than PvP. There's obviously a very prominent, strong group of PvPers within the game and the community, but if we went for a percentage of player base, I would expect that the majority of people are playing for PvE. And since Doom Tower, there's just not been any big keystone achievement. People do also say like, oh, I finally one keyed normal Hydra, hard Hydra, brutal Hydra, nightmare. Like those are also keystone objectives that people want to achieve. But like, no one cares. Like, how many videos are there even about how to beat hard dungeons? Like, I've not felt any desire to make a video about how to do it. Because does anyone actually care? I definitely don't. God, this floor is painful. 5 minutes and we're still on the first wave. Oh dear God. Oh, this is shocking. Right, I think actually I'm gonna have to just put this on auto and walk away. It's too painful otherwise. Right, chaps and chapesses, thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for being a part of tonight's play. We are 1 hour 10 minutes into the stream. I think that we'll call it a night. I will try and do something. I don't know, maybe I'll try and get a video out tomorrow, but realistically over the weekend I will try and do something. If Doom Tower hasn't reset by then, maybe I can try and show some stuff in the other floors, and maybe do like a final recap of where I am. Otherwise, hopefully there'll be one of those faction crypts open over the weekend. I haven't even checked when they're open, to be honest. I know we were there just a minute ago, but I didn't actually pay attention. I'll try and get some videos out for the remaining factions, or even some of the factions I've cleared. I've recorded some of the runs, but I didn't like talk through them. So there's probably some kind of composite video to be done in the future. But we'll see. I'll try and get some kind of content out this weekend, but I don't know what it will be about yet. Obviously, we might end up with Fusion news as well at some point, and that might be a natural video to make. Whatever it is, there'll be something this weekend. Otherwise, feel free to join my Discord server, and you can chat to me there. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.